Hey guys, this is your girl TamCam, executive producer of Silver Lining Nation, and
Lorene, the host for Silver Lining Nation.
Now Lorene, we're on season 3. How do you feel about that?
Super excited, Tam, because we have some amazing guests for you guys. We are inviting people that are non-alcoholics and addicts, as well as family members, because we want to get their views on what it feels like to be on the other side of being family members of the addict and alcoholics.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you remember, but I actually interviewed you. You remember?
I remember that.
right before you actually started Silver Lining, or we started Silver Lining, I should say. I interviewed you, and that interview never got aired. So now that we're in between seasons right now, we're gonna go ahead and air it right now. So guys, enjoy my interview from Always TamCam, my YouTube channel. Enjoy the interview with the future host of Silver Lining Nation. All right.
Well, thank you, Tam. I don't know how I feel about that one, but
you don't remember
anyway,
you don't remember what you said?
No, I don't remember a thing that I said. So I guess that's what's going to make it more amazing and fun.
Yeah. All right, guys. And enjoy the episode of me interviewing Lorene about the future Silver Lining. 3 seasons in. Enjoy.
Bye, guys.
All right. So we haven't officially started yet, but I want you to go ahead and I want you to hit the slate. This is becoming a tradition at the TamCam show.
Okay.
Where you hit the slate and try to make me think of a song, like you slap it to a song.
Okay, how you gonna know what this song is?
I don't know, but I guess in one time out of the 3 times that I asked somebody to do this.
Okay.
Because what I'm doing is lining up the audio and the video.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
You ready?
All right. Name that tune. That's the song?
I got the song in. Wait.
Let me
do one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if you can guess this song.
Okay.
Guess this song. Guess this tune.
Jingle Bell. Girl, I'm not good at stuff like that. I was doing The Man in the Mirror.
Oh my God.
The Man in the Mirror.
I'm talking about the man in the mirror. All right, here we go. I'm so excited to have you here. Hey guys, this is your girl TamCam, always TamCam, and welcome to the month of April. This show is really going to help a lot of people because it is a very serious topic. And I brought on the show today my best friend, Lorene SIlverman from Silver Lining. She is launching a new YouTube channel this summer. I hope you would check it out. Once again, guys, welcome my best friend, Lorene SIlverman.
Hey, y'all.
So I am so happy you finally decided to come to the show. I actually put out an invitation and you called me the other day and you said, hey, I am ready. And I'm like, ready for what? And you was like, I want to be on the show. What do you think? And I'm like, okay. All right. So you're here to talk about something that not a lot of people know about you. And you only shared that with me maybe about couple of months. No, a couple of years after our friendship.
4, 5 years?
Yeah, because we've been friends for about 10 years now. And you told me, hey, I am in, recovery. And I'm here to learn more about you. Okay. I've been to a couple of your meetings. And you're here to educate the public on how to deal with someone who's in recovery.
Right.
And can you explain what recovery we're talking about?
Well, I work a 12-step program, and I have been in recovery for 12 plus years right now. And what you're mentioning, what I invited you to, was my anniversary. We give out certain chips to certain birthdays that we have to celebrate. So I invited you because I consider you to be a part of my family. So it was really an honor to have you there.
Thank you.
And also, you know, there's a lot of people that have their own opinion about people that are in recovery. And sometimes for me, I didn't want to share it with people that I wasn't close to, and that didn't really understand the I call it a disease because that's what it is. But I wanted to make sure that you had a better understanding of who you were dealing with. And the funny thing about it is that in the program that I work, we would consider you as a normie, so to speak. What a normie,
I'm far from normal, trust me.
A normie is someone that doesn't have this alcoholic or addict disease that we have. And this is just my opinion only. I do consider it to be a disease. And the reason I wanted to come on your show was, you know, just to let people know that, you know, there's a lot of help out there that you can get. And for me, it was a 12-step program that really helped me. And right now, with COVID going on, there's a lot of people that don't know where to go. And there is help out there, and that's one thing that I want to put out there.
I feel like I'm almost dancing around saying the word because you told me that you cannot say the word.
You cannot. I cannot promote the name of the group that I'm in.
Can I say the letters just in case someone, you can't even say that? Can I put it on the screen?
No.
Okay, so see, this is something that I'm learning as well. And so there'll be more information at the bottom, but I'm pretty sure by now you guys know what we're talking about. And once again, after 4 or 5 years, like, I did not know this about my friend. And to be honest, I'm still in disbelief because so I tell her this all the time. The only knowledge I had about this disease was watching Moms. Now, if you know the CBS TV show Mom, that she's never really seen before. You still haven't seen it, right?
I have no interest in seeing it. I live my own real reality there.
So what the TV show is about, it's about women dealing with their addiction, and it's passed down from generation to generation. And this show explains it in a comical way of how, you know, people with the disease are dealing with it. It's not a funny matter, but, you know, kudos to the writers and the actors, and they canceled the show. The show was like one of my favorites. So 12 years you've been in recovery. Right. Has it been an off and on thing?
No. I've been really, I guess you can use the word blessed that I've not had a relapse yet. Okay. And thank God, yeah. Yeah, thank God. And what brought me to the program in the beginning is, and this is something that I really want to stress to any individual that have a family member that is going through something similar, you know what? Just don't give up on them. Yeah. One of my kids, my youngest girl, my baby girl, she believed in me, and she, you know, when everybody else was like, "Oh, she's all right," my baby girl was like, "No, that's not right. That's not normal." Yeah. You know, she was that family member that, you know, just stuck by me. Right. And that's something that means a lot today. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think that I would have took it as serious. Right. Because nobody wants to admit, at least I didn't want to admit that there's something that I couldn't fix about me. Right. And I couldn't fix this on my own. So sometimes it takes that one person that believes in you.
Right, to believe in yourself. That's pretty much with anything. I always say that in entrepreneurship, it's so hard too. And I know you can't compare the two, but when you have people who believe in you, like you always tell me you love me, and I believe in you. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Those are so important. Those words take you a long way. So before we go deep into more of the background of the disease, I want people to know how we met. I want people to know how we met. So I was working at the state fair. It was my very first year. And I swear, I remember this day like it was yesterday. I was on stage emceeing at the state fair. And you walked up and you was like, oh my God, you're so good and you're so beautiful. And during that time, this had to be more than 10 years ago, at least about 12, 15 years ago. In our industry, the promo industry, there was not a lot of African American people.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of people that looked like us. So for someone in my industry to say, hey, you're beautiful, and not being very competitive or putting me down or it was just really encouraging to have you to say that. And I swear, from that moment on, we just pretty much been in each other's life. You came over to my other studio. I shot your athletic pictures. Don't worry, I won't post them. And I just found out we just had so many things in common. Like we instantly became like real sisters. I mean, we both share the same birthday month.
Yes.
We both have the same interests. And once again, guys, during this whole lifespan of our friendship of the first 4 to 5 years, she didn't even tell me, and when she did tell me, like, it wasn't, I won't say I wasn't shocked. I just was still kind of in disbelief, kind of like I am right now still. But I mean, I understand more. I understand more. And even when I've seen you in certain mind frames where, you may say, well, I need a meeting or something like that. I'm like, girl, we all need a meeting. Like, I even joke with her right now, like when I'm going through stuff and I'll text her, hey, I need a meeting, And I always say that you are just really blessed to be in your position because, first of all, you're helping a lot of people who really need the help and people who look like us. They're not really coming forefront. They're not getting the help that they need. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah. So I think the work that you're doing is so important because just like mental health is important, being in this program for recovery is so important. What was your first impression of me? Do you remember that day?
I do remember that day. And my thing is, I like people to know that I see you, and especially us, because sometimes I can see a sister and we don't speak to each other. We don't acknowledge each other. So I want to make sure that I'm setting the example and being the person that I want you to be to me.
Right.
So that's where that came from with me introducing and letting you know that you're a beautiful woman that day. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
And, and when it comes to, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things that go on in our culture where we were raised to say, and my children, I've raised my kids with this same mentality that what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Yeah.
And I believe that for our culture, that keeps a lot of us from seeking help.
Yeah.
Because we've been told that you don't go out and you don't tell what we're doing in here. Right. So a lot of things that we have dealt with growing up have affected us as adults, and we don't talk about them. Right. We don't seek the counseling, or we don't seek the help that we might need because of that upbringing.
Right.
So the program, the 12 steps that I work, what I got out of it was I have to unlearn everything that I thought I knew.
Right.
And that can be pretty hard.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I didn't want to hurt anyone, with my disease.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what was happening.
Right.
And I wanted to stop, but I couldn't stop on my own. And what happened was I worked the 12 steps, and I started seeing things different.
Right.
Because I always want to do something to change, but I didn't have, I call it a blueprint or anything, to a guideline,
right,
in order for me to change.
Right.
And that's what the 12 steps have helped me do.
Okay, we're going to go through this. The 12 steps are, you're going to explain what they are. But first I want to start with, the last couple of years. How have the last couple of years been with COVID, being among the whole world, and someone in your position, what was it like, to be, secluded from the world, not being able to meet people and talk to people and go to your meetings? Was it difficult for you?
Really difficult, because for me, I need the interaction of people. Mm-hmm. I've got to be around people. The Zoom meetings, that just didn't do it for me.
Because you need the personal touch.
Yes, I need that personal touch, and it. I see more and more people coming into the rooms due to COVID, because a lot of us don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. And I think to have the awareness that there is a place that you can go, mm-hmm. Just because I work a 12-step program, I'm not saying that's what you need to do. Mm-hmm. I am just saying that works for me.
Right, yeah.
And it just surprises me with the amount of people mm-hmm. that are out there that don't have the knowledge. They don't know. Even the families, they don't know. I know that there's something going on with my family member, mm-hmm. but I don't know what to do with them.
Right. Yeah. And that's where the program Elanol comes in. Am I saying it right? Elanol?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember you, once you told me, you sent me to a meeting. I was like, but I knew what it was because of the show, Mom, mm-hmm. on mm-hmm. CBS. Love
mm-hmm.
it. But it's like my little reference to just understanding in a comical way. But like I said, this is no laughing matter, but the show really opened my eyes to what the terms and what people are really going through. And mm-hmm. I remember when you sent me to Elanol with your son, we sat at a table with a bunch of strangers. I was like, what is this place? I was like, what is this place? Like, you went somewhere. You went into mm-hmm. another room. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I'm just sitting down with a bunch of people talking about stuff, and they were telling me stories, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, this, like, and still today, I go to some of your meetings. We're going to a meeting mm-hmm. today, which mm-hmm. is Thursday, where they allow family
open meetings.
It's called the open meetings mm-hmm. To come in, and I'm telling you, I'm proud to be there when mm-hmm. you're there, because mm-hmm. I see you in such a different light. And when I say that, I see you in the brightest light I've ever seen, because you're actually in your element where you're a leader, and people are talking to you differently. Like, I don't see this person almost every day. I mean, you are a leader, and you've helped me with my business and everything, but mm-hmm. there's just something about when you go, and you told me this, when you walk into those doors, yeah. you know that you're about to get filled up again. Can you explain mm-hmm. how important going to weekly meetings is to you?
I need to go to a meeting at least 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. That's for me. Because I said it's when I'm in the rooms, that is the only place that I can go.
Right.
And I can say the sickest things, and half of the rooms are going to nod their heads because they get it.
Yeah. I
can say that same thing to you, who I consider a normie, and yeah. we're best friends. As you guys can see, this is my best friend, like she's already said. And I can say it to my family, and you guys would go, do you know what Lorene said? There's something wrong with her.
I don't think I would say that. No, I don't think I would say that. But my eyes would be bucked. I'd be like, what?
It would shock you.
It would shock.
Yes, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it would shock you. But when I'm among people that have this disease that I have, they get it, and I'm always talking to you about this thinking that's going on up here that I need to shut it down.
But see, that's where the doubt in my mind comes, because like I have those voices too in my head, you know, and I don't, you know, call it a disease. So like, I mean, I feel like, okay, you live this whole other life. And from the stories I've heard from, you know, your family, I still don't believe it. And you tell me all the time, if you would have known this person back then, you wouldn't be friends with them. Right. And that might be true, because I love this person who I see today. I really do. You. Like, I would do anything for you. But, you know, until I see that person come out, then you don't want to see that person come out. Yeah. And this is, you know what? This is why I love you as a person, because you tell it like a TI is. Like, you are the person who makes me a better person, as far as like speaking my mind and, you know, saying what I mean and meaning what I say, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah. And standing on your convictions. So, I mean, this new person, I know you're proud of her. I know you are.
I am. And she's still developing, and I don't know where she's gonna go. And that's the cool thing about it. And you know, one of the big reasons that I'm not mentioning the program name that I'm in is simply because it's about the way you carry yourself, right? That lets you want what I got, right? And what you're saying to me, I'm really honored. It makes me feel really good. It makes me know that, you know, most days I do pretty good with, you know, working my program. Some days I don't, you know, but I'm okay as long as I don't do a drug or pick up alcohol. Right. You know, as long as I don't put something in my system, I still have a fighting chance. But it's, you know, I remember when I came and they used to say one day at a time, and I used to say, you know, maybe I could do that. But in the beginning, what I heard was, this is forever. You got to do this for the rest of your life. And that was like a lot.
Do you still think that now?
No, I look at one day at a time, because that's what I have. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know, you know, all I have is today. And what matters is what I do today. Right,
exactly. So you mentioned unlearning everything that you learned. Can you explain that? Like, what did you have to? I mean, I know, but can you explain it?
It's my beliefs. It's the way, it's how I was raised. Right. And there were certain things that were installed in me that I had to unlearn, because they no longer worked for me. Right. I was raised in this organized religion, and man, I would pray so hard for God, who now I call my higher power, to relieve me of this disease. Right. And that didn't work for me, y'all. I remember when I worked the 12 steps with my sponsor. She, you know, told me.
And what is the sponsor before you?
It's someone that works the 12 steps with. Okay. They work the 12 steps.
So they lead you.
Yeah. They guide me, and
they hold you accountable.
Hold me accountable. I tell her everything. Right. I mean, she's like a confidant. It would be like a life coach to you normies. Exactly. So I remember telling her, you know, and we laugh about this today. I tell her, we can skip that part, because I've been raised in this certain organized religion, and I got the God thing down.
Right.
And she said, how well have that been working for you? And I heard in my head that she's dissing my God, so I got to get rid of her. And after I went home, I thought about all the times that I had prayed and I had asked God to relieve me of this. And y'all, I'm not telling any of you guys that religion don't work. I'm just sharing with you my experience. I'm not telling you that going to an organized religion that you are not to be doing it. That's not what I'm saying by any means. Whatever works for you, then kudos. I'm happy for you. But it just did not work for me. So after I thought about it, she had something there. So when I used to go to the organized religion, I remember as a child, I would sing this song, and I used to get down on this song, y'all, because my mom was over the youth choir, so she told me I could sing. So of course I thought I could really sing. Right. So when we would sing this song, he's got the whole world in his hand. I mean, man, I used to get down. My little body used to be shaking, and
I can almost see you as a little girl.
Oh my God! And he got the whole world in his hand. It planted a seed in my head, and it said that the world is huge, y'all, right? So if he's got the whole world and he's over the whole world, where do I fit in?
Yeah.
And he's too busy for me. So what I had to learn to do is I had to make him where I can attain him, where he was. I had to downsize him, so to speak. You know how you go to McDonald's and they say you want to upgrade that Big Mac?
That makes sense.
I had to downsize him,
right,
so he could be attainable to me.
Yeah, anything that's like big, you know, you're thinking about the big picture, and you're thinking about the future. Yes. But just like you say, you think you take it one day at a time, and anything you do, you take little bite size. Yes. Yeah, we go by this phrase in the entrepreneurial world. We say everything is figure outable and you can achieve anything. So so that makes sense.
So that's what I had to do, but that's where I had to learn that my higher power wasn't that huge God that I was raised to believe.
Right. You made him more personable.
Yes. Yeah. And I used to leave him in church. When I go to church on Sundays, I left him there. When I came back on Sundays, I would pick him up. What this program taught me was, since I've downsized him, I take him with me everywhere I go.
You take him everywhere. Yeah.
I take him with me everywhere I go.
I'm laughing because it I'm thinking about an episode on Girlfriends where you know Girlfriends, the TV show where Tony found religion, and she had like this little tiny Jesus, and so she would stick Jesus in her pocket and say, "Oh, I got a little tiny Jesus with me. Yeah. I'm gonna be okay."
Oh yeah. It's God of your understanding. I love that. Right. It doesn't have to look like yours. It can be mine.
Exactly.
So that's one of the main things that I was blessed with from this program.
So can you explain the 12 steps, or maybe just give an outline on what the 12 steps are and how important or is it to follow the 12 steps in order to be where you are right now?
The 12 steps are our principles.
Right.
And we work them with another individual who we call our sponsors, and a sponsor, and that's how my life was changed by working those. There's a lot of programs that work the 12 steps, which is the reason that I'm free to use that. Okay, because that's not. A lot of recovery programs not use it. It's just not the program that I work that use them. So I even gave you a book. Yeah, you did. Celebrate Recovery. So you could understand
tips
more.
in it. Yeah.
And it's really, I remember when I first came to the program, I was on fire. I was like, everybody should have this. Everybody needs to be doing this. And I remember I was told, you know what? You need to shut up, because now that you think you found this great thing, you let your action prove that there's a change in you. Oh yeah, I want to testify. And that's why I'm not able to use the name also, because you know what? I might not be sober tomorrow, and here I am. I'm broadcasting, so it's like I can't be the cheerleader for that organization. That's not my job.
Right. But so when you were saying that, it kind of made me think of the conversation we had about the program. We'll just call it the program being a cult. What's your take on that?
Well, if that's the case, I don't know many cults that give you back to your families. That's my spin on that.
That is a point.
Yeah, that's my spin on that.
When you think about most cults, they pull you away from everything you know and love. You know?
We give you back.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Mic drop, boom. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I worry because we're in the promo industry. And when I hear you do liquor promotion, you knew what I was about to say. When I hear you do liquor promotion, which I'm very proud of you. So when you're around liquor, do you ever get tempted or anything? And because I'm at the point where sometimes, and you always say, look, Tam, be yourself. You can drink, you know. Do you ever get tempted?
Are you asking me, do I ever think about drinking?
Right. I mean, the smell.
Yes.
The smell.
I think about drinking.
So why do you take those promotions? Why do you take those?
Those are two different things.
Okay.
You asked me, do I ever think about drinking? Yes.
Yeah.
When I'm working an event with alcohol, am I thinking about drinking then? No.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's two different things.
Okay. But you can be thinking about you can be thinking about drinking as you're working a promotion.
Not necessarily. I can,
because you're around it. Is in your face. Yeah.
But I'm not thinking about me consuming it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I'm not thinking about me drinking. I don't want it.
I mean, it don't make sense to me, because it's almost like, okay, if I'm trying not to eat sweets, but I'm working in a bakery, it's almost like, okay, I'm selling muffins, right? Yeah. I'm selling muffins, and I'm thinking about eating a muffin.
Okay,
but if I'm selling the muffins, hell yeah, I'm gonna want to eat the muffin. Yeah. So unless I'm on a strict diet or whatever. So and I'm sorry if I'm
I like that you asked me that. You know why I can do those liquor promotions and I don't think about drinking? Because I'm spiritually fit.
That's good.
If I wasn't spiritually fit, and spiritually fit means if I'm not in the right frame of mind, or if there's something going on with me, I wouldn't take those liquor promotions. Right. I wouldn't do them. Right. When I'm spiritually fit, I'm okay, and I can go any place. Okay. It doesn't matter.
And I get that, because it's almost like if I'm on a eating routine or anything, and I always have to equate it to some example in my life, and you're around the fatty foods, after a while you don't even want it. You don't crave it anymore. You know, actually, if you eat it, it makes you sick. You know, so I totally get it. I'm so proud that you are in that headspace where it's not tempting to you.
Yeah, you asked me that I think about drinking. It passes through, but the difference between me now and then, if I thought about it, I would do it. Today, I can think about it, but it's a passing thought. Right. I don't obsess over it. Right. That's different today. If I see myself obsessing over it, then I know that I don't need to go where they're selling it. I don't need to go where I know that there's going to be alcohol or anything that's going to change my demeanor, right? My feelings. I can't.
And I've heard you say that before. I've heard you say that you couldn't put yourself in certain situations, because like the whole room changes. Like when everyone's drinking around you, is very uncomfortable. You just leave, or
I leave when, like, if I go to a event and like a wedding or whatever. I still go to weddings. I still do things with my family, my friends.
Where alcohol
and
is involved.
There's alcohol. I know when it's time for me to leave. I always drive my own car.
Right.
I'm always I hold myself accountable by letting most of my friends aren't alcoholics. That's not saying that the people that are in my program, they're my family too.
Right.
But I'm saying my normie friends, they're not alcoholics.
Yeah.
So, and they know that I have this disease, so I'm being held accountable with them as well.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't, I can see a commercial and it's my disease will say, that looks pretty good. You, especially during the summertime.
That's the voice in your head. Yeah.
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 So I like
Do it
dressing
sound like that?
up.
Do it sound like Like,
no, I'm just like I love dressing up. I love heels and sundresses, and if I see a commercial and it's on the patio and they're drinking like a pretty drink, and that thought will come and say, maybe you can do that because you've been sober 12 plus years now.
So you need a reward.
So maybe you're not one.
Yeah.
That's the thing. My disease has said maybe I'm not.
Wow.
That's why I have to be reminded that, yeah, I am. And I have to break that train of thought.
I'm going to go back to saying how when I go to your meetings, how I see you in a different light, and you said you like to dress up and stuff. I'm used to seeing you like this, jeans, t-shirt, workout clothes. But when I go to your meetings, you're like dressed to the nine in heels. I'm like, are we going to church? Like, what's going on? Like, did I miss the dress code memo? Yeah.
Well, I ain't got nowhere else to wear my stuff anymore, girl.
Well, they got places you go, and you do go out, so don't say that. But I just love seeing, you in the environment where, like you said, you're the most comfortable. You said that, and you're helping people, and I feel like that's what we're here for. As humans, we're all here to, share our talents, our creativity, and to help people, and to get outside of self.
Right.
So let's talk about your family. I know your family very well. I feel like they're part of my family. Tell me, how was it for your kids growing up with you being in that state of mind? I can only speak for me on that. There's some hurtful memories for me that, I could have been a better mom. But I don't beat myself up, because today... Is that part of one of the steps? Yes. Yeah. I've made amends to my family, to my children, each one of them. And I try to... Today, what I try to the best of my ability is to do living amends with them. A living amend is, I do it through my grandkids, which are their children. I try to treat them better than what I treated my kids. And I know you love those babies. Oh, yeah. So there's nothing that I can do about what I done when I was in my disease, raising my children. And I'm not one that like to keep saying I'm sorry. That's not my personality. But if I had to do it again, would I be the same mom? I don't know. I can't say. I think everything that I've gone through was a reason to get me to where I am. However, there's people that I hurt while I was getting to be where I am. And that is not something that I don't think I would like to repeat.
Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So today, since I can't go back and change the past, I can show them by my action that, you know what, I want to give you a better mom today. That mom in the past, maybe she was doing the best she could at the time, but I don't want to make excuses for her either.
Yeah.
You know, because there's I don't know. I just think there's a reason for everything, and I don't know the reason why I was like I was. I don't know. I can't explain that to you, but I do know that I don't like hurting people that I really deeply love.
Right.
I'm not proud of that.
Right. Yeah. But you don't think that way when you're in that headspace.
Oh God, you can't. When I was in my disease, I didn't see that I was hurting anyone. I thought, I'm doing the drinking, I'm doing the drugs or whatever I'm doing. What is it to you? Not realizing that, you know, Christmas Eve, that my family have all came in town to see me, and I'm in jail. That's
something I didn't know.
That's hurtful. You know, that's not just hurting me, it's hurting them. And I justified it. I justified everything. But, you know, that, and not being present, being drunk while everybody's there and I'm in my own headspace because I'm drunk and not knowing what I'm saying or doing, it's called selfishness. And that's what I was, but I didn't know. You know, you don't know until you get some clarity. In order to get some clarity, you got to get some time. It's harder to stay sober than it is to get sober. It's hard to get sober, and because my mind would tell me, well, you ain't got but 2 days, you might as well go do some more, you know. So thank God for the people that showed me the way. I've got so many people that I'm so thankful to.
Right. Yeah.
In my program, I mean, God.
You got a lot of good. Yeah, you have a lot of support. Every time I go to your meeting, it's almost. Yeah. I told you this several times. I'm a little jealous because you got so many people just like to talk to, and normally on a regular basis, you know, no one have that many people to just relate to. And
I love to talk. I mean, they do more for me than I could ever repay them. You know, I moved about an hour and a half away from my program where I go, and
wait, you're really an hour and a half?
About an hour and a half if I don't take the tollway.
Oh, crap.
And people say, why do you drive so far? And I have to tell them. When I was in my disease, I used to drive a long ways to get whatever it was that I needed. So this place I owe a lot to.
Right.
So that's why if I take the tollway, I think I can make it there in an hour. I think about an hour. But I don't take the tollway because it eats up my money. But yeah, I used to drive a long ways for whatever I wanted, sometimes twice a day.
Wow.
So me driving once, that's nothing. So
you said you were in your disease when you were talking about, you know, your past, like around Christmas time.
Oh, but God, whatever was happening. If it's a holiday, I'll bring it on.
So you said, this is what I'm trying to understand. So you said you were in your disease, and then you say you have a disease. Do it ever change? I mean, why not call it like I'm in my recovery, or I'm
never going to be recovered.
But why not change it to something else? Why say disease?
I call it a disease because that's what it is.
You call it a disease, or is it?
Other people that I believe that it's a disease. There's some people that don't, but
some diseases are curable.
Not this disease. Alcoholism is not a curable disease.
Okay.
I have an allergic reaction to alcohol. It doesn't affect me the same way that it's going to affect you. And it's really hard to explain And I said in my program, it's not my job to educate you on my disease. It's for me to know my disease. Mm-hmm. Because it's really hard to explain it to a non-alcoholic, a normie. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. Right. You know, I even have family members that said to me, "You haven't had a drink in 12-some years. You're not alcoholic anymore." I would be an alcoholic for the rest of my life. And that's something I had to come to terms with. I know for experience by seeing people come in and out that they haven't came to that conclusion yet.
I just feel like as a normie, you should put another spin on the name. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of saying I'm still an alcoholic, because mm-hmm. if you're, I feel like even after 10 years, it should mm-hmm. after 10 years, I should change the name. Mm-mm. You know?
I never graduate. The people that graduate.
But you celebrate.
I celebrate.
You celebrate the yearly.
But I don't graduate.
Okay.
Nobody told me when I came in that, they told me that I would never graduate from this program. I keep, you grow or you go. So I have to keep learning. The people that have graduated are no longer in the program. They don't come there anymore. So I never want to get smarter than my program. Right. Because it will be the end, and it'll say, I've learned all I can learn. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly learning something new from this program. And I'm really blessed for that. And I'm hoping that the podcast that I want to start, I'm going to learn more. Yeah. That's going to be so cool. Yeah. I'm going to learn more because I want to hear different views. Exactly. About different things that might work for you that I don't know about, that other people can hear. And that's what it's about, y'all, us helping each other and saying that there's a solution. Right. Because that was the hardest thing for me to say, that there's something broken in me.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was going to be my next question. You actually read my mind, which don't surprise me because we're both Geminis and we like 20s. Yeah. So how do you feel about, other people going other routes, because they have been proven success, in their opinion, by not going to a alcohol recovery program. They've, took things into their own hands, and they haven't really gone through the program. So, and they haven't really gone back. So, I mean, what do you think about it? What's your true opinion about someone not going through the recovery program?
This is only my opinion. But, I laugh about that now that I say that. I don't know how many my thoughts on my opinion, because I do have a head full of my program. I have to admit that. And I'm totally okay with that, y'all.
I mean, as long as
it works for me, and it's been helping me all this time. However, whatever works for people, it works for people.
I mean, because that's the thing, right? There's different avenues to different successes. So as long as to me as a normie again, as long as the outcome is the same, wouldn't it still be okay?
Okay, for me, when I am not working my principles, which I explained to you was my 12 steps, I have to practice those in all my affairs. I can't select when I want to use them, right? Right. In order for me to change, I've got to continue. It's like if I have an old behavior that's coming back, eventually that drink or drug's going to sneak in there on me too. Right. So if I'm doing something that goes against my principles, eventually I will use.
Slip back.
So I had to have something like the 12 steps. So the individuals that I'm working on 12 step, how are you dealing with life? That's the only thing that I would ask.
Right.
Are you happy?
Right.
Because for me, the 12-step replaced my drinking and drugging.
Okay.
In order for me, I believe, and this is my belief, that if I get rid of something, I got to replace it with something.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So
that's with everything. Yeah.
I've replaced my alcoholism with these 12 principles.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to do those 12 principles. I can't stop.
Right.
So what have you replaced it with?
That's what you would tell someone who's taking an alternate route to their recovery.
Yes, I mean, and you could replace it with whoever you call your higher power.
Right.
I mean, because that's a powerful being right there.
So having a higher power is definitely a very is something that is required to go through the program. What if someone don't believe in a higher power?
You don't have to believe in anything.
Mm-hmm. That's not one of the 12 steps to believe in a higher power. I mean, because I'm pretty sure you've run into this.
I've got to believe in something bigger than me.
Okay.
But nobody's gonna force you to say this is. I know some people that don't believe in a higher power, and they're sober, and they still are in the program.
So what do they believe in? I mean, do they do it for their family? Is their family?
No, they've been sober a while, and they work the program, and I can't say how they're sober, but I know they're sober, and for me, because of my religious background, you know, I explained to you earlier, when I would go there, I stopped going one while. It was like, that's just a bunch of crap. Now, more of my program is intertwined with what I was taught as a child growing up in that religion program. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because your mind is starting to.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, and it's more open, and I'm open to receive it. It's like when the student's ready, the teachers will appear. Yeah. I totally believe that. I wasn't ready at the time, but now I'm on a different level. So I know that people are of religion. They have something there.
Yeah.
And I believe that.
There's always a common denominator with every religion, every occupation. Mm-hmm. You can always learn something new from everything. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to endorse it. But
just be open-minded enough to say, you know, what if? For me, I have to remember that just because I'm sober doesn't mean that I'm God's right-hand woman. And I have to tell myself that, because it's ego.
Because you sometimes feel like, wow, I'm invincible.
I know, and I know the answer. I know little.
Right.
That's what I have to remind myself.
Right.
I know little, and that way I can remain teachable.
Okay, tell me this. Just popped into my mind. What happens if you make a mistake and eat something that have alcohol in it? What do you do at that point?
And I know that I ate it.
Yeah, you know.
Did I know it had alcohol in it?
Right, like a piece of cake. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could probably smell it before you eat it.
Then I would talk to my sponsor about it, first of all. But more than likely, she would tell me if I didn't do it intentionally, and this is what I would tell people that I sponsor. If you didn't do it intentionally, and when you found out and you spit it out, then you should be okay.
Okay.
You didn't do it. It's not like I did it intentionally.
And so it don't break your sobriety, right?
I don't think it would. It shouldn't.
Okay.
Because I wasn't deliberately, doing that.
Right, exactly.
Intentionally.
Right.
Have
you heard stories like that in your recovery, where someone said, I was on track for a year and...
No.
Okay, because it's like, how can you not know? Like,
I've not heard anybody, and
because I'm thinking about it like that, because like, what if somebody eats something they have peanut allergies, and
right? It would hurt them.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yes,
and so that's what that's where my mind went. You know, what would you do? You know, in their case, they're going to suffer physically.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's like that's
But for somebody, you know, like yourself or anybody, you know, who go to your programs, you suffer spiritually or.
And you asked me, like the things that we discuss in our rooms is anonymous. Yeah. I had the hardest time saying that. I used to not want to ever say that word. But we don't talk about what goes on in the rooms, what we hear, and that's another beautiful thing about it. So because I can let my hair down, right, and I can be. That's a safe place.
I always feel like talking is a sense of relief, stress relief, emotional relief. It works for me when I'm talking to you. I know that's probably why it's one of the most important principles when, you know, you're going to your meetings. What am I trying to say? Oh, so the question that I have for you is, you say everything is anonymous in your meetings. When I go out to dinner with you and your friends, do you, and I know you can't speak on everyone, but in the back of their mind, do you think that they're thinking, wow, I can't be myself because I'm with someone who's a no-me?
If I'm in a meeting and someone's in there and it's a certain meeting that we have, like the ones that you go to are open. Right. Anybody can go to.
So when they talk, are they censoring themselves?
If I'm in one, like the ones you go to use a speakers meeting, and you go to my
and that's the one on third,
and you go to my birthdays, right? But the other ones are closed, and I would not speak the same as because you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. So I would be more cautious. That's why we have the different levels.
And explain the birthdays, because somebody may not know.
It's like when you have a year, you get a chip. Yeah. So
this year you're 12 years old. Well, this year you'll be 13.
If God's willing. Yeah.
And don't tell me October.
When you usually come? December.
December? See, I'm never good with birthdays. That's why I don't celebrate them.
Yeah. Me either. Neither one of us celebrate. That's why we have something in common.
Exactly.
A big thing we have in common. Right. Like, I don't want to celebrate that.
Don't you give me nothing, because I ain't giving you nothing. And we don't take offense.
Exactly. It's
So, I know you're going to explain so much on your show. So can you tell everybody exactly what Silver Lining is going to be about and what type of audience you're wanting to reach?
I would like for it to be where different individuals are coming on and you're sharing about what works with you in recovery. It doesn't have to be the program that I'm in. What I want to do is be able to reach all sorts of people that are struggling, that don't know what to do, don't know where to go. And I want people to be on there that have tried other things that work for them, because we need to know. It's like I mentioned earlier, what works for me might not work for you, and that's totally fine. So I want to know what you're using that works for you. Also,
because people may want alternatives.
Yes.
Just like a diet or anything.
Exactly.
Now, you always want choices.
Exactly. Also, I will have people on that will be sharing their experience, strength, and hope with you to let you know what we done, where we are now, that are in these different recovery programs that show that this program works for me. This is what I've done. This is how I stay sober. And, just have people reach out and say, give me some suggestions where I can go. Right. And I mean, the guests that I have, you can ask them, you can, send a private message or whatever and say, where do you go? I like what you got to say. Right. I want to go there. Things like that, just to let people know that it's help out there, y'all. Yeah. And it's not easy, especially now. And that's what I want to bring to, so people can be aware that just because you look a certain way don't mean that there's not something that we all can identify with.
Are you on a mission to get more people of color to start attending meetings? Because I don't see a lot of people that look like us. And I know we go through a lot.
That's true.
In this world.
I would love to see that, and just to say that, especially females, we're so much caretakers. We want to take care of everybody. We want to take care of our families. And in the program, I see a lot of us come in and we leave because we get so busy that we get pulled in so many different directions. So, yeah, I would like to see more women of color. In men, I would like for us to break that train of thinking that I can't tell that there's something going on in my house, that everything has to look a certain way, because that's not true. And I think as long as we keep that thought in our minds and we keep telling ourselves that, we keep passing that on down from generation to generations, and that keeps us sick.
Yeah. So I'm going to end with these two questions. And they're kind of selfish. Well, one is selfish. So why every time I go to your meeting, we never sit in a circle?
Oh my goodness! Where'd you get the circle from?
Is that a stereotype? No, I'm just kidding. I get it from mom.
Oh my goodness!
I get it from mom. Yeah, and you see it on TV shows too, where people sit in circles.
Oh my goodness!
And so when I go to your meetings, I'm like, why would I sit in a circle? Why would I sit in a circle? I don't know. It's just something I see, and I'm like, I expect every time I go, I'm like, we just sitting face forward. But I know every meeting don't do that. So
I think that's a stereotype.
It's a stereotype. Everything has a stereotype. Okay, and something kind of outside the box, but not outside the box. But why, when you introduce yourself, you say, "Hi, my name is." I mean, of course, you're introducing yourself, but everybody repeats your name. What is that about?
For me, I need to remind myself and say it out loud. That's who I am.
Yeah, and you say, I'm a,
Hey, y'all, I'm Lorene, and
yeah.
I need to be reminded that's who I am.
So that is the reason why.
That's my reason.
Your reason. But what is the general reason?
We don't.
Because that's when I feel like I'm in one accord with y'all. Tim gets up there.
Separated?
No. I'm together with you guys.
Oh, okay.
Because when I go to your meetings, you guys have devotions that you say, and at the end we hold hands. And I still don't know y'all say at the end. When you're holding hands, but I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just to acknowledge who I have to acknowledge, and it's like a testimony to me.
Okay.
To say that's who I am.
Right.
This is who I am, and when I first came in, I didn't like that.
Why not?
Because in my head, this is that old behavior that I told you. You had to learn everything you knew. Mm-hmm. I used to think that if you said it, you became it.
You see, that's the one of the reasons why I'm still in my mind struggling as a normie, because I feel like it should be changed. But if there's no opposition, on you guys' part, like y'all not opposed to it, then I'm like, well,
that's not true. I am one. Just because I don't say it don't mean that's not gonna snap and say, "Oh, you no longer got it." I am one, and right. I have to say it. It's just like where I told you I had to learn everything I knew. It's like I remember this organized religion that I used to go to.
Mm-hmm.
It used to say, if you've been blessed with something, you need to share and tell the world,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Well, I had to learn that I've been blessed with something, but it's anonymous, and I
Right.
can't go around and tell the world.
Right.
So I have to show in my behavior and the way I carry myself, there's something in me
Okay.
that's made a change.
Okay.
I like that more than me going out and saying what you ought to do and how you ought to act and what you should, because I found this great thing and I want to tell the world. And then one day, what happens? I get drunk. So now what are you going to think about this wonderful thing that I told you about?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to say it don't work
Yeah.
because look at her.
Yeah.
So that's what I had to learn, you know, versus what I learned in the organized religion, that I can't go around and preach this wonderful thing. I have to live this wonderful thing and demonstrate it through my life and the way I carry myself.
Right. Yeah. So why now? Why, you know, start this new podcast? Why, you know, start coming forward with, you know, and letting everyone know, basically the whole world.
I know. Silver lining, I think it was time for it. I remember when I was 5 years sober, we have to go through Facebook and I have to show it to you. I was so proud, y'all. I posted a cake that my job had bought me, and it said something about me being sober, and all the people, they were like, oh, we're gonna pray for you. Oh, you poor thing. And I was totally insulted because I was like, they act like I'm still drinking. It was all about me, y'all.
Yeah.
It's that ego thing got in the way,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how to handle it then. It wasn't time.
Right.
Now, I don't know why I think it's time. And you've been talking to me, and you've been encouraging me, and you've been saying, Lorene, you can do it, and I've been saying,
because you're so good at it. Like,
nobody's gonna understand this southern accent, and they ain't gonna know what I'm saying.
Honestly, they're gonna fall in love with you even more because you're totally being yourself. I think you're the one person that I know who, first of all, I can totally be myself around.
Good.
You know, and there's a very few people who know who the true Tamyra is, and not the TamCam, but Tamyra, my real name. There's so many layers of everyone, and there's only a certain one layer that only a few people get to see. And I'm proud that you let me see you, not just your true you, but you're always your very authentic you everywhere you go. You know how like you're somebody different around different people? Yeah. You're the same with everybody.
You. Oh my goodness. Do you know
you're the same with everyone.
I strive to be that one person.
Yeah,
That's why I have my sponsor. Yeah. She's one person and I love her. And I want that. That's what she's got.
You are.
Oh my goodness.
You are.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying that. You are. Like, even though I say I see you in a different light when you're at your meetings, it's not that far from the person that I know. It's just like a more I don't want to say refined, but it's like, you know how everyone strives to be a better version of themselves. Like, I see the ultimate version of you, and I'm like, wow, who is that? And then I get all giddy, like, that's my friend. Oh my God.
That's how I get when you're on stage. It's
like, really?
Oh my goodness, that's my friend. I can't do that.
You know, it's like, I adore her. Like, and I truly say that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I adore you. I say you're I say you're cute. Like, it's so funny because like all of my friends are a little, smaller than me. But ever since I've met you, I always say, my friend is just so cute. I love her. And I just love you. I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much for sharing everything with me in the world. And your podcast is going to kick ass. I know it is.
Well, I can't wait. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. So guys,
really excited.
Make sure you tune in to Silver Lining coming this summer. We're gonna work on her content, her page, and I'm gonna be her producer. And
yes,
we're gonna help a lot of people.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining another edition of the TamCam Show. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, and let your friends know about Silver Lining featuring Lorene SIlverman that's coming. And go out, love one another, and just be blessed, guys. We'll talk to you soon.